or welcome if you're new here. So today we're going to do another easy one, and this could be made from the Dollar Tree as well because I'm using canned chicken, so you can get that from the Dollar Tree, and everything else I know they have the ingredients there. It's cheaper to do it elsewhere, but if all you have is the Dollar Tree, this can be made there. So what are we making? We're making chicken enchilada rice casserole. So without further ado, let's get it, let's go. Let's heat up those pots. Come on. Here's what you're gonna need to make this recipe. You're gonna need some rice. That's not the rice I'm using. I've already made the rice, so that's kind of like a placeholder. You're gonna need some cheese. This recipe calls for white cheddar cheese and Monterey Jack. Well, guess what? I had a little bit of cheddar cheese down there on the right, and I had some Colby Jack. So that's what I'm using. You use what you want to use. You're going to need some red enchilada sauce, some refried beans, corn, and a can of chicken. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is make the rice. Actually, I've already done it. I put, for the long grain rice, I got 4 cups of water, brought it to a boil, added the rice, put a lid on it, simmered it for 18 minutes, left it alone, and kept a lid on it for 5 minutes, and we are done. Now we're on to the next step. I'm also going to be making this dairy-free, as I always do, so that Eric can eat what we're eating. According to the recipe I'm following, there's no seasoning but salt and pepper. Now, for me, I know the enchilada sauce might carry a lot of flavor and whatnot, but I really need to season those beans. I can't just eat a can of beans right out of the can. It's just not going to happen for me. So we're going to season them. Hopefully I'm not making a mistake. I don't think so, but we're going to see how that goes. The rice is going to have the enchilada sauce, so that'll give it some flavor, but they did say to add salt and pepper to that as well. So I'm going to take this big old can of refried beans, stick it right in there. I hate the way it looks. Looks like dog food. Hold on, let me get that out of there. Hold on. How to get a better grip. All right. So what I do to the refried beans, to thin them out, I add a little bit of water to them. So I have some water just sitting off to the side here, but first I'm going to add some seasoning. Now, this is going to be seasoned with your heart, guys, because some people like more, some people like less. That is onion powder. Garlic powder, I'm going to go heavy, because we like garlic in ours. That's probably, it's got to be at least a tablespoon or more. Some pepper. Not going to put a lot because we have the enchilada sauce going in there. Add some salt. Beans can take salt. They can handle it. So can that rice that's in there. And then I'm just going to add, this is 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to add a little bit, mix it, add a little bit, mix it. Oops. We're going to give that a really good mix. Okay. That's better. I just wanted to get it just thinner so it wasn't like thick as heck. I mean, I used a fraction. Okay, that much of it I used. Just a little tiny bit. All right. I'm going to give these the old sniff test because I can smell it and know if it has enough in there or not. So I took the teeniest of tiniest of tastes of the beans. I add a little bit more garlic, an onion, and a pinch more salt. And when I say a pinch, I mean a pinch. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next step. That should be good. There goes the rice. I'm going to add some salt and pepper to it pretty liberally. I think the enchilada sauce is what's supposed to flavor all of this, but I don't want to make that assumption and then be wrong. All right, we're going to give that another mix, or a mix, not another. Thought that was going to make more rice than it actually did. All right, on to the next step. Okay, to the rice that I cook, we're going to start adding everything. Now, I took my fork and I jammed it inside the can, and I just kept crunching up the meat, chicken. Trying to make it shredded. Okay. I'm doing the exact same thing for Eric's. As a matter of fact, if I have too much for his, I'll end up throwing it in mine. Just so you know, for the sake of honesty. We're going to add the can of corn. Boop. Let me give that a big mix. It's a little hard the way I'm standing, and it's just awkward. Let me mix that up and we'll go from there. I decided to mix Eric's in with ours. So this little bit of meat was what was in Eric's, and there's probably like a third of a can of corn that you didn't see me add in there. Because up until I put the cheese in, Eric could have everything we're having. So it's just easier to mix it in the one bowl. Now we're going to add the refried beans, and that's going to be another big old mix. This, what I'm making is going to feed an army, I'm telling you. And I will have all the measurements down there. The measurements I'm going to give you is for 6 servings. If I remember, I'll put the link to where I got the recipe from. But if not, I always will put the recipe down the bottom. Okay, another big mix. All right, that's the best I could do. It's getting really hard to mix. I probably should have did it in the casserole dish, didn't think of it. So if you're making as much as I am, do it in the casserole dish. Now, I budgeted for mine 2 cans of enchilada sauce. If you're doing the 4-person, it's 1 can. And that is a 1. I'm going to give that a mix first and then add the second one. Can number 2. And of course, I'm going to put some water in these cans and get the juice out of it. It's very hard. I got this tiny little flimsy thing right here. All right, I'm going to take some of this out for Eric because I'm going to add some cheese now. And this is where Eric and us part ways. I just snitched a taste of that. It's all cooked stuff. It's a little spicy, but it's not big on flavor. So here we go. Here goes Tina. And there's still more sauce down the bottom that I have to mix through. I just wanted to show you I was adding. You know what it needs, and which I'm not a fan of, is cumin. I'm going to get some. Okay. I'm going to put a little cumin in my hand because I am not a fan. Even the smallest amount I could taste. But I'm going to put a pinch or 2 in there. I think that's what it needed. All right, let me give that a big old stir, take some out for Eric, and we'll be back for the next step. Boy, oh boy, is that getting difficult to manage. I don't think my family's going to eat all this rice. We're going to have leftovers. I'll be shocked if they eat it. So we're going to add that little bit of cheddar I had. Well, a little bit of Colby Jack was on the bottom. So I'm going to add a pinch more because that's a lot of rice. So a big pinch. Boom. All right, another mix. It's really too hard to do it on camera. All mixed up, let's get the casserole dish. You want to know something funny? You want to know what I did wrong? I didn't follow the recipe. You were supposed to mix all of those ingredients and then add the rice. Oopsie poopsie. All right, well, we're here now. So what I did was I took a casserole dish and I just took a little bit of olive oil and rubbed it around because I'm out of cooking spray. I'm going to put that in here. Okay. What I'm going to do now is take some cheese. There is more rice than this left. I think I kind of judged what my pans would hold, and I just left it in the pot. We're just going to sprinkle this cheese over top, and we're going to, I don't know if we're going to cover it. Maybe I should follow a recipe once in a while. Okay. Let me see if that needs to have foil put over it or not, and then we'll go from there. So we are going to cover it. I just wiped a little bit of olive oil on it because I'm out of my spray. That's going to be ours. Let me show you Eric's real quick. And that's Eric's. Definitely would have been easier if I mixed everything and then added the rice. Duh. But here we go. In the oven, about 15 minutes or so, just enough to get it all bubbly. Okay, it's coming out of the oven. There's Eric's. And that's the dairy-free. All right, put the wire rack down because I didn't want to throw a hot pan on my counter, even though it can take it. Look at that. Even though I feel like I messed it up by mixing it with the rice, we'll be the judge of that. So let me plate it up, and maybe I'll meet you at the plate. Maybe I'll meet you at the table. And there's my plate. I'm going to meet you at the table.
If you get any benefit at all from my content, you can help me out by clicking like, share, commenting, and definitely hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video.
We're at the table. Eric isn't feeling well, so he's got a little bit on his plate. We've had him at the doctor's today, so he's just going to try and get some. And he's a trooper. He came down to do it with me anyway. I could have gotten one of the kids, but he said, nope, I'll do it. It's our thing. So we're just going to give it a taste, and I'm going to let him go on his way. So I don't know if he'll be down here for the wrap-up, but I'll let you know. Thought there was something in my food. That's funny. All right, you ready? Go. Wait. Okay, now go. All right. Yours might be different than mine because he's got more enchilada sauce in his. I think that this probably had the ratio to rice is off. And that's what the issue is with me, and probably because I mixed the rice first. It's good, don't get me wrong. I would eat it again. I would even make it again. But I think I would make it the right way. It's got a little bit of a kick, right? Not for you? Well, for me it does. It's very cheesy, very good. I would give it, again, this is probably another one of those 7s, and likely because I have too much rice in it. But we'll see what everybody else thinks. All right, I'll see you at the wrap-up. Bye-bye. Dinner's over. How'd they like it? Boom, they ate it. Let's find out what they thought about it, because you know what I thought about it, and I got a couple more ideas on the end, but I don't want to mess with what they're going to say based on what I say. So let's start with the big people today. Blaze, what did you think?
I thought it was really good.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, Jesse?
It was amazing.
Amazing?
Yeah, it was really good. I like the chicken in it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Aiden?
I really liked it.
Nick?
It was amazing.
Amazing. Really, you think so? All right. Yaya?
It was delicious and flavorful.
Cool. Tyler?
Even though I needed more enchilada sauce, it was fantastic.
Yeah, you agree with me, yeah. All right, and Eric went upstairs and laid back down. He said it was okay, just wasn't feeling like eating, and he went on upstairs. Okay, here's what I thought. I thought the rice to enchilada sauce was off. And I can't blame the author of the recipe because I was kind of like 1.5ing the recipe. And when you look at it, it says like 1.67, you know, instead of like 1 cup, 2 cups, 1.5 cups. So some of it I had to guess at. Had I had another can of enchilada sauce, even while I was making it, I had said it to my daughter that I think it needs more enchilada sauce. But if you're going to follow the recipe for the smaller version that I will be putting up with this, you might be fine. I think you're fine, but just, you know if you're 1.5ing it, the sauce may be off. So I hope you try it. I hope you like it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you would do differently. I love to hear from you guys. That's it. Don't forget, please like and subscribe. See you later. Bye.